Standing on Business podcast.
Oh,
I'm here with your host, Jake Baker, and I'm also another host on the show, Michael Perez. And today we're really excited to introduce our first guest speaker, someone who has 8 years in the real estate industry, 5 of which have been as a real estate agent. And through pure ambition and drive, he's transitioned to someone who flips contracts and even begun buying properties himself, amassing his own $1 million portfolio of investment properties. Throughout which he has also built a brand called Offer Central that provides tremendous value through education on how to excel in real estate to professionals and beginners alike, which we'll touch on a little bit here today. Since then, though, he has successfully operated a number of very valuable real estate meetups here in the Riverside County. That's actually how we met. Please help me welcome the all-powerful Niel Carmagan.
Man, that was a sick intro.
Thank you.
Hey, hopefully, thank you for having me. I hope I can live up to that intro.
I'm sure you can.
I've never been introduced like that.
No.
You guys know.
Nice.
Great to have you, man.
Yeah,
Great to
thank
have
you.
How you feeling? How you feeling today?
I feel really good. I'm honored to be the first guest.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I can bring you guys as well some value.
Definitely. And I definitely believe that this is going to be a very valuable podcast for everybody to take away from. Anybody really that just wants to start off, or even just entrepreneurial mindsets. We're definitely going to go pretty far with this and just kind of setting people's mind on a different trajectory for sure.
Yeah, and my life statement is leave everybody off better than when you first met them. Right? It doesn't matter who you're talking to.
First thing you told me when we met, actually. That was
Really?
actually cool. Yeah, no, I remember that.
That's
actually.
powerful.
That's literally my life
How
statement.
long has that been with you? How long has that been your life statement?
I don't have an exact date, but at least 5 years.
Majority of your adult life, huh?
For sure. At least since I was 20. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm 27 now.
I can
so-
respect that. That's a huge life statement to live.
Everywhere you go, just
I love that,
always
actually.
lead with value.
I love that. Yeah.
Powerful.
I might adopt that myself. So that's a
The
good
whole
one.
concept behind it is you don't know how far it'll go. It's a ripple effect,
That's a good one. Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
one little thing can change somebody's life, and then they're gonna go tell their kid, and then the kid's gonna go tell his friends.
Yeah.
And then the friends are gonna tell their parents, and then their kids. You know what I'm saying?
It lives on for a lot longer than you can anticipate
It's like when you
sometimes.
throw a rock in the water, and then the ripple just goes, and then
Yeah.
you lose it.
Yeah, you lose
It's-
it. It goes so
it's-
far you lose sight of it. Yeah.
It might come back, it might not, but
Mhm.
it's really just the people business that we're in. It's
Yeah.
like if you're, obviously in this business, you can reach out to as many people as you can, and some people it's going to reflect, some people it's going to come back to you, some people it's not, some people it's just,
Yeah.
we'll talk a little more about that, but obviously I do want to hear more about you and your story, but first I want to give our viewers a little bit of depth of who and where you came from. So if you don't mind me asking, are you from wealth or a place of opportunities, or to build yourself to where you have come building this Offer Central and do everything the success you brought yourself?
No, bro, I'm not a trust fund baby.
Let's go.
I actually was born in Mexico. Dirt roads.
Wow,
We didn't have a
really?
restroom. Yeah, I mean, I've been here since I was 4, right? So I didn't
Uh-huh.
have that much of that.
Right. But that's actually where you were born.
I just went 2 years ago, and it was a trip. 'Cause
Wow.
I hadn't been there since I was a kid. It was a
Yeah.
very, very humbling experience. But yeah,
I believe
dirt,
it.
dirt roads. We didn't even have restrooms in the house. There were back houses.
Wow, man.
And it's just seeing that again. It was a trip. But
Let us
Yeah.
know in the comments if you guys have ever experienced a lifestyle like that, where you had
Yeah.
to.
Literally, yeah. No restrooms in the house. Like,
I've
come
always
on,
washed
like-
my hands with,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
it's just a whole nother perspective. So
even showers.
Yeah.
No, there's no water heaters out there, so you're showering with cold water. There's no water pressure because everything is on septics. And
Yeah.
then, what are those? The gallons on top of the roof? They
Oh,
collect the
it's
water.
like water fed almost.
Correct.
Like,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
There's no water pressure.
There's
It's just
nothing
free
pumping
flowing.
water to your house. It's whatever you collect, basically.
Correct.
Wow, that's interesting, man.
Correct. So even when we shower,
Yeah.
it's just literally a bucket full of water.
Oh my
It's smaller
goodness,
and
yeah.
smaller,
And I'm
it's
sure
just-
no heating up
he's
the water.
calling it
No.
interesting, and it's like this is people's lives.
No,
that
it's,
they
it's
live.
very interesting, but it just goes to show what we take for granted over here in the
absolutely.
U.S. and like most of the Western world. Like we take that stuff for granted. Like I'm over here showering in like a water softener, like type of like like my water's like.
Why does my skin feel so soft?
Yeah. So, but like, man, that's absolutely interesting to hear how humbling that experience could be for you.
Yeah, first generation immigrant. I came here illegally with my parents, and my dad's doing a lot better now too. And I feel like just watching him, I learned a lot from him.
Right.
I really learned the work ethic from him.
So would you say he's been one of your role models, or maybe one of your mentors, someone who kind of pushed you in the direction of success?
Yes. Yeah. Now, yes.
Uh-huh.
When I was 18, it was very tough because I didn't go to college. I barely graduated high school with the 2.1.
Oh wow.
So it was tough because he really wanted me to go to college and be a doctor.
He was hard on you, huh?
He's
He was
like,
hard
we
on
crossed
you.
the
Yeah.
border
A
for
lot of
you to
tough love.
just throw it
Very
away.
hard.
I'm
Very
sure.
hard. I
Wait.
remember he kicked me out of the house. He's like, "Hey, I came to this country to give you a better life, and you're taking it for
Literally what I
granted."
said. Wow.
Because you grew up Americanized in his
Yeah.
like.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Which I did to an extent. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and stuff, but yeah, it was just bad. So he kicked me out of the house, and I moved out when I was 18, and I haven't gone back home.
I definitely wanted to ask you too. Where did you find your ambition and your drive to succeed? I mean, to build this abundance, even though you weren't shown that or told that. I mean, maybe your dad did instill it in you. A little
He
bit.
wanted that, huh?
Subconsciously, like I said, I got kicked out when I was 18, and it was tough because the agreement I had with him, he really wanted me to go to college for anything. At the time, I was going to be a nutritionist, and then I went to business. But what's it called? He just really wanted me to go to school. So he's like, "Hey, you're going to try this real estate thing for a year. If it doesn't work out, then you're going to go back to school." And I was like, done. I was like, this is my way out. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, easy, yeah.
And then a year had passed, and I didn't make any money. So he's like, "Hey, you ready to go back to school?" And I was like, "Dad, I'm so close." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
a little bit more time.
So,
Yeah.
And 2 years passed by, and I didn't make any money.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
And then I was driving Uber.
Yeah.
I was driving Uber when I was 21, because I remember I had to be 21. Driving Uber, still hadn't made any money. I mean, I had closed like a deal, but
No real money.
in
Yeah.
1 year it was like 10 grand for the year.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Dad's like, dude, what are we doing?
yeah. So then the third year came around, and it was halfway through the third year, and I hadn't made any money yet. I just you know, one deal here and there, and I was still
Right.
driving Uber, and my dad was like, "Hey, when are you gonna go back to school?" And then I was just like, "I'm not."
Yeah.
You know, like I'm really gonna try this. Like I know I'm super close, and for those, they were a rough 3 years with him. I didn't have the best relationship with him, but then the third year, halfway through, I went from 0 sales, and then I did 9 sales that month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I went from 0 to like 80 grand in commissions.
Wow.
So it's
Now, dude, what was the factor that's changed for
the
you?
pipeline.
I can't even pinpoint it.
Really, you can't. Really.
No, you just have to keep working.
You just, bro, that literally, that pinpoints it. You don't fail until you
Consistency.
stop.
Effort.
And it literally, so you necessarily didn't have an unsuccessful 3 years. You stayed consistent. And in that 1 month of having 80 grand that paid for, like, that's damn near what most people make within
a
like
year
2
or
or
two.
3 years.
I
Yeah.
was 22, and
That's ridiculous, bro.
I ended up closing $64,000, and I was
Yeah.
number one agent at that office out of 250 agents.
That's ridiculous.
And I was 22 out of people that were in the business 25 years,
Wow.
20 years. And then when that happened, I was like,
It's impressive.
this is what it is.
Yeah.
How do I do this consistently now?
And what have you found it to be though? Like what have you pinpointed it to be? Like just being consistent. Like that's your main
That's it.
just being consistent.
And having the mindset. Most people, I feel like work, but they have the mindset of like, man, this isn't even working, or hey,
A negative mindset. Still going and showing up but not present in their
Correct.
mindset.
Dude, I had the mindset. Every person I was talking to was my next deal.
Was it wow,
Like,
really?
once I started closing deals, every person I was talking to was my next deal. Hey,
that's
this is my next deal. Hey,
that's
this is my next deal.
and it
Does
turned
that
out to
mean,
be
like that those 3, like from when those 3 years you weren't making money, you were just consistently following up, making relationships, and you were serious about it 100%.
I was driving Uber, giving people my business cards,
Damn, dedicated.
telling everybody like, hey, this is temporary. I always knew, hey, this is temporary, and then
That's what it takes. I mean, you can be like, yeah, I have a real estate license, but I need to make a little bit of money, so I'm gonna Uber, and who knows where Uber's gonna go? Might maybe some cash. Who cares? And I'll just try to find it off Uber, off that.
Yeah.
But no, every opportunity is another opportunity.
every opportunity.
Every opportunity is.
it was crazy because I would work full time in real estate from Monday to Thursday, and then Friday after the office, I would go drive Uber, and then Saturday, Sunday, I had open houses. So I worked
Wow.
7 days a week for 2 years,
Yeah, I believe it.
making no money.
Yeah, making no money. Yeah,
money.
imagine
Dedicated,
the
though.
dedication
Dedicated.
that it takes to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I was 22. I heard that year I went, like when I was 21, I think I made probably like 30K that year with Uber and stuff like that. And then when I hit 22, I made 120,000.
Wow, that's a big jump.
150,000. Then I made 180,000. And then in 2022, I did 450,000. And then
Let's
last year was
go.
my biggest year, which was like over 600.
Let's go.
Nice.
Congrats, man. Yeah.
Millions,
Absolutely.
$500,000 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's again like you can just sit here and be like, I'm gonna be a real estate and say I'm real estate and market myself to my friends and my family as a real estate guy, but when I go out and to talk to public, I'm just the guy that drives Uber, and I'm just the guy that does whatever, and I'm not gonna talk about what I'm actually doing. And that's staying dedicated to that, staying disciplined to that, and driving yourself to really put that logo out there for yourself is really what makes a difference.
I think that's where you found your success, was you were living life as a real estate agent. Like, you were driving Uber, but you were driving Uber as a real estate agent. Like, every Uber, hey, I'm a real estate agent.
Metaphorically and
so
that's tie. They would ask me, what do you do? Why are you so dressed up?
I'm a real estate agent.
For real,
which is a conversation starter.
And that speaks volumes to me. Absolutely, that does speak volumes to me. So
again, it's go-getter mentality. Like, I just want to that's so powerful. I really just want to reiterate, like, you can have the go-getter mentality, dress up in a suit as an Uber driver, or you can just say whatever, and that's strong. That's super
even
strong.
Grocery stores. I show up to grocery stores in a suit, buying whatever. Why are you so dressed up? I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Every time. Hey, is there anything else I can help you?
Because you want it that bad. You want it that bad.
Dude, it was a trip, bro. And it wasn't even like, what's changed a lot too is that before I wanted to succeed out of spite. Like, I just wanted to prove my dad wrong so bad.
Yeah, out of spite.
Almost worse. I wanted to prove him bad more than I wanted to succeed.
Then you actually wanted, you wanted the validation more than you actually wanted the success.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. And I operated like that in my younger years.
And you didn't find any success until your mindset shifted. I would guess.
When I let go of the person he wanted me to be, and I just became who I am, right?
Yeah.
Like who
you
I
embraced yourself. Yeah.
Right. And that's really when my business started taking off.
Wow. Yeah. And what year would you say that was when your mindset really shifted? Was that when your first year when you got 9 deals in 1 month?
No, it was probably when I was like 20, 21.
Okay.
Because I'm the person that nothing has happened fast. Like, there's people that get into real estate and start tearing shit up. You know, excuse the language, but
speak freely.
That was not me. Like, it's always been like the turtle and the rabbit. Like,
You've always been the turtle.
It's just incremental.
You always will get to the finish line, but it's always been that slow and steady.
So much trial and error. So much trial and error.
Because my next question that I wanted to ask you actually was, what's special about Niel? What do you have that the average person doesn't have? That
exactly.
You know, what is it that you have that the average person doesn't have? Is it anything, or is it?
I have, dude. If I had to pinpoint something, because I mean, anything I'm doing, anybody can do, right? But if I did have to pinpoint something, I think it's my perseverance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't take no as an answer.
There you go.
And I don't put my head down with defeat.
Exactly.
I just continue to go. You know, like, even my real estate exam, I failed it 7 times.
Wow, really?
I passed it on my 8th try. It took me a year and a half to get my license.
Let's go. I love that. Dude, I love that.
That's powerful, bro. No.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's an equation. Success is an equation. It's discipline. It's consistency. It's trying, and it's perseverance. It's all those positive words that you see when you're in elementary school on the wall. Like, you're like,
they're there for a reason.
They're there for a reason. Like, if you persevere and if you try and you have discipline, if you build yourself up in a certain way, it's an equation. It's gonna add up.
It's a law of the universe almost. It's like
the Fibonacci number sequence. It's a spiral, right?
Let's go.
Every one you add, every small increment you add, always, 3, 4, 5, and then the number just keeps getting bigger.
It just keeps getting bigger, incrementally bigger.
Yeah. It either gets worse or it gets better.
Yeah,
that's it.
It can only go one of 2 ways. Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely, it can't stay stagnant if you're adding things to it. That's beautiful.
No, I mean, and that kind of goes into my next question too. Is like, what influenced you to get started in real estate? Like, I know your dad was on your tail end to be like an accountant and things like that. What inspired you to be that? I'm doing real estate. Forget about it.
Bro, I've only had one job when I was 18, and I worked at Cardenas supermarket.
Let's go. Yeah. 2 pounds of carne asada.
In the produce section, and I worked there for 3 months. And to be honest, I never really grew up thinking like, hey, I'm gonna get into real estate. I did construction with my dad growing up, like in high school and stuff, and I would go to work with him, and I just watched the real estate agents pull up, bro, like dope
in the
suits,
Mercedes,
BMWs, Porsches, and I'm like,
while the construction workers are there working on the house, they're literally pulling up, selling like, dude, you guys painted this color like little off, but it'll work. Like,
I would see that, and I'm just like, dude, what is that? So I started paying attention to that, and then when I was 18, I went to a seminar, and I ended up meeting a real estate broker there. And then he pulls up in a nice suit and a nice car. Yeah. I'm like, I'm in a 2009 Corolla. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, what do you do? He's like, yeah, I'm a real estate broker. And I was like, shit. So after that weekend, we connected, And then he asked me, he's like, hey, you want to work? And I'm like, hell yeah. Dude, I dropped out of college and I moved to LA
Let's go.
by myself. I didn't know
Really?
anybody but the broker. And I
Risk.
had only talked to the broker like once or twice.
Wow.
Risk. That's
Risk.
taking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Putting
I
it
moved
all-
out to LA. I
Wow.
found a roof for rent. He helped me pay my rent, helped me get my license.
Really?
Yeah, for 6 months, he paid my rent.
Really?
I moved out there, and because he saw I was committed.
Yeah.
I talked to him. He's like, "You want to work?" And I'm, dude, yeah. And I moved out there.
Wow.
And that's when I moved out.
Powerful.
That's a huge opportunity. And see that I truly believe that people are presented these type of opportunities in their life, but it comes down to wanting to risk it or not. You had to move to a city, a huge city that you knew one person in the city, and 9 out of 10 people that I know personally wouldn't take that risk. They'd be like, you know what, I'm comfortable working at
Little
my
Caesars
Little
is
Caesars,
fine.
my Little Caesars
Little
job
Caesars is
in,
fine. It's
you
so
know?
funny.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's a trip because
That is a
when
trip.
When I did move, my aunt, I still remember that she messaged me. It was my dad's sister. She was like, hey.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they just want the best for you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
They don't-
yeah.
They don't have any bad intentions. or anything,
Absolutely,
but she's
yeah.
like, hey, just be careful because people would take advantage of you.
Of
right?
course,
Like,
yeah.
just a lot of that. And,
Yeah.
and
It's hard for you to process. You're like, well, I'm trying to do the right thing, like, but they're telling me it's not the right thing, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's definitely tough.
and sometimes you just gotta follow your gut. You gotta be willing to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, could you imagine how confident, or not confident, but now how stoked that guy is on you, the real estate
yeah.
broker?
He's
Yeah.
still one of my really good friends.
I believe it. I
believed in
believe
him,
it,
and
yeah.
now he's like the Offer Central. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't
It
expect
makes
that.
him feel good as well for even
Yeah.
like knowing that you took it seriously and he didn't waste his time, like how we were talking about
Absolutely.
wasting time. And because it takes a lot for him to even just meet you and be like, hey, come out to LA and let me pay your rent and like let me help you get started. That doesn't happen every day.
Dude,
you know,
yeah,
that's
yeah. Believe in
super.
you, for sure.
I wasn't making money, and he wasn't even paying me a lot.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't even paying me.
You were just
Sometimes
working,
he'd give
you
me
were
a few $100,
Yeah.
but I did learn. I learned P&L statements. I learned corporate
Wow.
structures. I learned CRM.
What you
management.
learned was more than what you could have been making at it for sure at a minimum wage job or any type of 40-hour or 9 to 5, right?
And it
Like,
trickled
yeah.
into what's
It
now.
compounded.
Yeah.
Because now
Compounded.
I worked with him. I learned. So for 2 years, I worked with him literally for free. Didn't make any money.
Yeah, what is it? An
I was an assistant.
assistant, yeah, type of deal, yeah.
And the following 3 years, I started seeing, and I was like, bro, I can sell houses, you know.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
I sold a house without even having a license. I actually sold 10 homes without having a license, using his license, and then I just I worked with him for another 3 years, made some money, and went out on my own.
So that actually trickles into my next question. How you were saying you used his license. One of my questions I had for you, Neil, was actually, do I need a real estate license to make deals or to make money, any type of money in real estate?
See, the beautiful part about real estate is that there's so many. Real estate is like a very generic. It's like saying business,
Really?
right?
Yeah.
Real estate is such a generic term.
It's like saying the word.
It's broad. It's broad.
so
It's
broad.
very broad,
Yeah,
I'm
definitely,
sure. Yeah,
bro, because you can flip. You
Yeah.
can be an agent.
Yeah.
You can be a wholesaler.
Wow.
You can do loans.
So
you can do
to
inspections.
the average person, to like my mind, I hear real estate. I'm thinking like when I hear real estate, I'm thinking a contract in front of me, and I'm signing for a 30-year.
Big bangs, big
yeah, I'm signing for a
businesses.
30-year.
Warren Buffett comes
the,
up.
the only knowledge I have of real estate is watching my parents buy their first house when we went from apartments to their first house, and they signed a 30-year mortgage loan or
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
real estate contract.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So, but like
Big business is what you think of right away, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's you can do home inspections. Like I have friends that do only home inspections, and they charge $400 a home inspection, and
Really?
3-4 a day.
How hard is that to get into? Getting your home inspector's license or whatnot?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be honest, but there's so many routes. Like you could even. I know people that only take photos of homes. They're still in the
Really?
real estate industry.
They're making money off of
And
photography.
they make like $400 or $500, $300 on taking photos.
Yeah,
Or
and that's
virtual home
still
tours.
under the real
But
estate
Correct. Yeah.
branch.
if you have 3 or 4 or 5 of those set up a day as a photographer, you can make
Oh, you're rolling in
1,200 bucks a day.
You're making $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good money, dude. That's
Like,
good money.
you
Rolling
know,
around
on
taking
business.
pictures. Yeah, rolling
Right,
around taking
exactly.
pictures. I've heard actually. What is that? Is that an appraiser or a real estate
No, a
appraiser?
photographer. Like you take pictures.
That's
of the
another
house.
thing. Appraiser. They're the ones that
Appraise
work
the
with
house.
banks that
Inspectors.
come and tell you the whole evaluation, that tell the bank the evaluation
Yeah.
of the house. So real estate, saying real estate is like saying business.
It's
right?
so
Like,
broad. Yeah.
Very broad.
Okay.
Yeah, that actually trickles into my next question. Actually, I was going to ask you: do you have to be a certain person to be allowed to be an investor? like, or to be an investor, you
Yeah,
have
you
to
gotta be like a big shark type of guy.
right.
or,
You
yeah.
have to be like the big suit and tie. People are intimidated by the idea of, like you said, the word biz or real estate. It seems like such a big term, because it is a big term.
Yeah.
So umbrella. It's so broad. But like, do you have to be like the president of the United States to start talking about real estate, or like a governor, or like
Right.
some? That's what I thought before I got into real estate. So I guess that's why I asked.
Yeah, not at all. To be honest, it's funny because when I was a realtor, it's one of those things where you're young, you do have to dress the part, right? Like,
Yeah, you have no
tie.
life experience, so you have
Yeah.
to look the part.
Like,
more.
I'd show up to appointments and be like, "You just look like you got out of high school," and I was like, "Yeah, I did."
I
But can
absolutely
sell your
did.
house.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
So,
But let
so-
me tell you a little bit about the terms and when your
Yeah.
houses are selling.
Yeah.
Your houses in your neighborhood or something like that. You're like, whoa, hold on.
The more I get away from the retail side, like, I don't even wear suit and ties anymore unless I go to like an event or something. Like, I don't even wear ties really.
You just wear your pull up in your black shirt and your
Even when I go to appointments, so I show up to appointments, just a t-shirt.
That's
Sometimes I even
badass.
take my watch off.
yeah, just more casual. The more casual you can look, almost.
Sometimes
really.
I'll go in sweats and a hat because
Really?
I'm in the investment world. I don't want to show up in a suit and tie.
Flashy. You don't want to
because
look
they're gonna
flashy.
think I'm gonna screw them over, and
Wow.
I'm gonna show up as the guy that has money.
So that's that's a strong tactic right there. That's a powerful tactic.
Like, I'm gonna
That's-
show up as the guy that has money.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna rip them off.
Yeah, you want to almost show up as like their brother-in-law or their friend, like just the average dude that I know that is just gonna help us sell our house. Yeah,
Because when you show up, they'll be like, what does an investor look like? It's like saying criminal, right? What is a criminal?
yeah, salesman. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Salesy.
Yeah.
It's salesy, and like
Yeah.
people just kind of get like intimidated by it. They're just- And that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah, you just got to show up with options. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of the times, most realtors will just try to get the listing, but sometimes the listing doesn't make the most sense for the client.
That's
sometimes
true, yeah.
Sometimes they don't even have to sell; they can just refi and pull some money out and do whatever they got to do.
Right.
And most realtors will just try to list their house just to get the listing so they can get paid.
Yeah. Which is why, as a solopreneur myself, like as a real estate agent / investor, I've kind of branded myself as a consultant more than anything. Let me know if that sounds
Yeah,
misconstruing or anything like that. I've been trying to like let people know, like, listen, like I just want to talk to you about what you need to do with your property, and
Yeah.
maybe we can sort something out. If I can help you sell it, if I can help you, buy it or whatever the heck options I have to give you, I'm happy to do that. But if not, then obviously I'm gonna lead you into, like you said, refinancing or just sticking with your house, or maybe just getting some tenants or something. Like, I just want to brand myself as that real estate consultant, have more conversations.
yeah. Even my scripts are very personable. Like,
I
for
bet.
example, like if I call somebody and I know, and the cool part about doing your local market is that you know the market, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not just like throwing the big net.
You're
out
not
there.
super cold calling. Yeah, you know a little bit of.
So if I pull like a probate list, right? 'Cause we do a lot of probates, which is, do you know what a probate?
I don't actually know.
So
no.
probate is like when a family member or homeowner passes away and they don't have a living trust.
Okay.
It goes to the family through the will, but they still got to go through the probate process, which is like attorneys, courts.
Oh, wow.
So it actually takes like 20% of the equity.
Really?
Realtors involved, all that stuff. So
Okay.
even when I approach him, I'll be like, "Hey, I was actually driving in the neighborhood. My family lives right down the street.
Yeah.
My wife loves the area,
Yeah.
and I noticed the property needs a little bit of work. And I didn't see anybody. I tried to knock on the door, didn't see anybody. I was wondering, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
What do
are you guys planning on selling? Like,
That's powerful. Holy shit.
and coming
Yeah.
like that.
Wow.
Instead
Yeah.
of like, "Hey, do you want to receive? Are you open to a cash offer?"
Yeah, that's so. Well,
So
what I was gonna say is
Quickly,
yeah.
I make calls every day. I've never actually said.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say is that's way more personable. Like that's like I was in the neighborhood. Like my family lives right down the street. It's like my friend. Like
We know
my
each
neighbor.
other
It's like my
almost,
neighbor.
yeah, let me
almost.
help you out. We're in the
That
same neighborhood.
totally. I feel like that. that could
Or
go
like if
far.
a home is vacant, I'll go knock on the neighbor's house and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you know who used to live here?"
Yeah.
And I'll get names.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So then when I call him, I'll be like, "Hey, I was talking to your neighbor John."
Oh wow! And they're like, oh, he knows John. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Crazy.
Start name dropping.
No, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Well, because those little things, I'm sure, play huge factors in the conversation itself.
And I'll cuss with them on the phone.
Yeah. If you pick up that energy, huh?
Yeah,
right?
they
Like,
like,
I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like,
Yeah.
you got to understand that these people are regular people too, and think about
Yes.
how many calls they get a day.
Yeah.
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 So I'm just the normal dude that comes where it's
yeah.
like,
Shoot the shit with them a little bit.
I don't want
yeah.
to talk to a business professional. I don't want to talk to somebody trying to scare me out of my house. Like, I just want to talk to someone that's
Yeah.
professional, but also personable.
That's really powerful. Yeah.
Or it's like, "Hey, these are your options,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm not a realtor. I am licensed, so if you want to list, that is an option.
Yeah.
But these are your options. It doesn't matter what you pick. At the end of the day, I'm not going to strong arm you. You're going to pick the best only you know your situation, and you're gonna pick the best option for your situation, which
Right.
I have no idea about.
And we want to talk. We want to figure out what that alley could be.
I want to pick.
I don't care what you pick, as long as we can work something out.
I just want to consult you through this whole
Yeah.
entire your ordeal, whatever
Uh-huh.
it is. If I can help, I'm here.
That makes me want to ask, actually. So is getting into real estate difficult at all? And do you have any beginner pro tips or anything you wish you would have known first, starting off? You can share with someone who is considering getting into real estate.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when I got into the business, I hit the lottery by meeting the broker.
There you go. Yeah. I was gonna say those opportunities
Powerful.
don't happen all the
Huge,
time.
powerful.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
very powerful. So I had that support. You know, he'd already been in real estate for 20 years and kind of took me under his wing and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I had to give anybody advice and you want to get into real estate, I would say find somebody in your market, somebody local that is doing what you want to do.
Right.
Like you'll be surprised if you just walk into a real estate office and you ask, who's your top producer?
Right.
Who's your number one guy?
And you had to add a lot of value to him as well by moving to LA and then working for pennies on the dollar.
Hustling.
So you had to as well. You got an opportunity, but you had to also produce and show your loyalty and show your dedication and how much you were willing to. How long did you have to do that for, if you don't mind me asking?
I worked with him for 5 years.
Jeez, wow.
So I branched out from him 3 years ago.
Nice. Okay.
And first thing he
And you
told
guys are
me-
still like this, like you guys
Yeah,
are
we're
still
really good friends. I
that's
still
awesome.
call him all the time.
Yeah.
And the first thing that he told me the first day I met him, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna teach you, but you got to pay it forward one day. That's all I asked."
Let's go.
And I was like, "Sick."
Yeah.
So pay it forward right now.
And I know.
Let's hear it. Like, who's this
So,
guy?
so that's what I would do. I would ask for the number one person,
Uh-huh.
or see on Instagram like who's producing. Start going to your local meetups.
Okay.
Start again name dropping. Start connecting with people,
Yeah.
and then this is key right here.
Let's hear.
Don't say, "What can you teach me?"
Mm-hmm.
Hey, based on your business right now, I'm getting into the business myself. I don't have any real estate experience, but I can tell you that I'm very dedicated and I hustle. What value can I bring to you and your business?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What can I bring to you? Not what can
Yes.
I get from you or anything like that.
No. Always bring that. Like, what value can I bring you?
Yeah.
Not what can you teach me?
You want to
'Cause it's
know,
like, bro, I
and you
can
want to
do
know,
it.
it's so funny. Even for this interview, this podcast, that was our mentality: is how can we provide more value? You know, like get them Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely. Yeah,
we wanted to.
Dude, not gonna lie, I was gonna buy you house slippers and fucking.
We were
And a
we
little
went
travel
we went
bag.
to Marshall's probably twice or 3 times. So like, see, like just like if anything could catch our eyes, like you know,
that's
like.
cool. Thank you.
But
But
we actually,
definitely expect a gift from us in the mail, if anything, bro, because we're
bouquet
definitely
of flowers or
We're-
something. No.
we're gonna put something together for you for sure.
Make sure you let her know ahead of time so she doesn't.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So as you know, if
Definitely not gonna be flowers.
Yeah.
we got wifey behind the scenes right now.
Yeah. Neil's wife, yeah. But yeah,
So yeah, always coming from adding value. Like what?
that's
value-
huge, yeah. And that's almost a no-brainer, but I feel like that step gets overlooked.
That's a powerful tip. I guess I would like to ask, like, how important is that? How important is networking in the business? How important is and any tips you can provide or have to network effectively?
So there's 2 types of networking, right? There's networking for business, and then there's networking for like your net worth, right? Because it's funny, somebody always told me your network
Is your net
is your
worth?
yes, but your network is your rainy day fund.
Ooh.
Think about that.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah. If somebody comes and takes away all your stuff, your network is potentially who can supply you, help keep your lights on if you needed to. If
You
you
just
need
make a
to-
phone call and just say, "Hey,
Yeah.
yo, what's going on? Like, do you guys need to?"
Yeah, business is dry for me
Business
right
is-
now, but hey, can you help me out right now? Your
Think
rainy
about
day
it.
fund,
If
yeah.
you surround yourself with the right people, you will have a surplus.
Dude,
of that.
that's
and
very
it all
true.
starts with relationships. Putting
Yeah.
relationships before paychecks. And
Wow.
that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah.
And then there's networking for clients,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I wish I would have started networking sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was working with my old mentor, I was just focused on that. But if I would have really started putting my name out there, like even now, 3 years, even sometimes paying the ticket, bro. I've paid a lot of money for coaching and mentorships
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, like
Yeah.
I paid. Just as an example, a year ago, I paid $15,000 to be part of a mastermind for 1
Yeah.
year.
Wow.
Which one? Tell us.
It's called No Limit. Shout out to Don. He changed
Oh,
my life.
that's
Yeah, he
cool.
changed
Shout
my
out
life.
to
That's
Limit.
good. No, it's good.
As soon as I joined, He's like, hey, bro, how far are you from Grand Terrace? I was like, bro, I'm right down the street. He's like, I might have a deal for you.
Let's
Boom,
go.
First flip.
Wow,
Wow.
really? So you probably made your money back.
I made $100,000 on that flip.
So that
Profit.
little investment
Really
made
profit.
you. Wow. See that, and that's why people are so scared to take that little investment. And you're investing in yourself at the end of the day.
You have to put
You're
yourself
literally
out there.
investing in yourself at the end of the day. And look at how it came back. It tenfold. It
Dude,
came
I,
back.
I saw his entire
Wow.
operation. He does about 30 deals a month. I flew out. He's in Texas.
Right.
I flew out to Texas. I
Wow.
saw his operation. I saw the scripts. I saw how he trains his people.
Wow.
I saw he was having meetups, and I emulated his business here.
Wow.
And that's when a year ago is when my business really started taking off.
And that's how you do it. Networking with people to see what they're doing, how to
I do.
What
down.
marketing they're doing. who
Copy
to
and
ask
paste.
people.
Copy and paste. Don't
Phone
try and
calls.
reinvent the wheel, right? Just do what works. And so I do want to ask though, because there's all kinds of people in this space, this guru type of like, hey, pay for my course. How do you weed out? Like, how did you know to trust in this guy? Like,
I
do
saw
you know
it,
you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about though?
yeah.
In
He
that
was
aspect?
actually in the business.
Yeah.
Like he has a brick and mortar real estate company.
Really?
Yeah, like he's doing 30 deals a month.
Right.
He's like, bro, I'm making $300,000 a month.
Yeah.
In real estate transactions.
Jeez.
Here's my
yeah.
track record.
Could
I've
you
sold-
imagine?
Yeah.
He's 29. He's like,
Wow.
I've sold over 2,900 homes. Drives a Rolls Royce, and I'm like, bro, what more?
Yeah. What more proof could you need?
Proof
I
in the
guess.
pudding,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah.
in the fucking pudding.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not like those guys that are selling the courses or the gurus and stuff that aren't even in the real estate business.
There you
They're
go,
trying to do
yeah.
it from behind the desk, behind a webcam type.
Yeah,
thing.
they're doing it more from a social media
Yeah.
standpoint
Like-
instead of actually having the brick and mortar and actually going and working the 12,
I'll
16-hour
prove it.
days.
Why? Come on a Monday.
Grinding.
Yeah.
Grinding.
Like even me, I have a mastermind now, and I'm building a community, and it was very tough for me to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, I'm not even where I want to be, right? But then I forget sometimes that people just want to get even. If I can help somebody even get to where I'm at that much faster,
Yeah.
the next step.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I started building that, and it's been a game changer for me. And even then, it's like if they ask me like, hey, how many deals are you doing? I have all my numbers.
There you go,
You know,
yeah.
hey, I closed 2 transactions.
Your portfolio
I got 1
speaks for
contract
itself.
this week.
Mhm.
What do you want to see? Like,
Yeah.
you want to see my leads? You want to see my CRM? You
Yeah,
want to see my
yeah.
operations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
why.
I'm in the trenches.
Yeah,
From
absolutely.
the trenches. I love that. Yeah.
You know?
He's
Yeah.
in it. He's in
Like,
it right
I'm
now.
building
Yeah,
too.
he's
Just like
knee deep.
everybody else,
Yeah.
I'm still building myself.
Yeah.
That's why.
And
I mean,
that's why we're thankful to have you as our first guest, because that's what the premise of this podcast is. We're in the trenches. We're getting it out the mud. We're coming up, and man, they couldn't be.
that was the most important part of my first question. Like, I really just want to convey to everybody that like we're not just starting from cash flow, and we're all like, you know, if someone's giving me 100, like
Yeah.
you know, 100,000 to invest in some, like we're all just starting from nowhere and trying to make something out of it. So
Yeah.
you know, if you guys are finding value in this, please let us know. Please comment below. Got Neil with the deal right now, and hopefully you guys can follow with us and grow with us.
Absolutely.
So, but I
Feedback. We call it carefrontation.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that.
constructive criticism, confrontation, however you want to take it.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely do want to ask. I mean, now that we've kind of gotten the topic of real estate investments and kind of making it, flipping and making that money, that $100,000 you're talking about, what does it take to identify and evaluate a potential investment deal?
Man, that's like a whole separate video, you know. But
Right, yeah, I know, yeah. Simplified into
Yeah,
a 2-minute answer.
For sure, you gotta know your market. Especially, it depends on how the market is doing, right? Like, for example, before rates changed in 2022, right? 2021, 2020, the market was just going up,
Yeah.
right? Once the rates changed, it kind of stagnated.
Yeah.
So you couldn't use comps from 6 months ago. You had to use 30-day comps.
Wow, really?
So you have to adjust to stuff like that. And then also, when the market starts to shift, for those of you that don't know, when rates go up, prices come down.
Mhm.
Rates come down, prices go up. That's how the market
I see what you're saying. So if you get a better rate, odds are you're paying over market value
Why
for
do you
your.
think people were paying 40, 50K over asking? Because they pumped all this money into the economy,
Wow.
which deflated the dollar.
Yeah, I see what you're
right?
saying.
Like
Yeah.
mind power.
Some
Yeah.
people don't understand this until they have an educated individual to help them like understand. Like, listen,
Right.
last 6 months ago, yeah, the house was worth 360,000, but the rates were 2%. But now the house is worth 400,000, and the rates are 5-6%. But you're still
Yeah.
paying, or whatever, you know. However, it circles back into and trickles back into like the sensible dollar amount of what you're actually spending on this home. So it's like you can kind of just math it out with a professional, with someone that's gonna educate you, and it's really just about education and who you're working with, the consultation that you're getting, your consult.
Knowledge is power. I mean, I remember Yvonne, Michael's sister, was actually telling us a story about in her contract. I guess she didn't realize or she didn't know that the property tax was going to increase every year, or her HOA, or something along those lines. Like there was a fluctuation in her yearly
property
tax, and so I can imagine that her lack of information.
Is it a newer construction?
No, honestly, it's a home that's been in some
But it had gotten sewer. It had gotten hooked up to a sewer system.
The city was redoing their thing.
Yeah, so I'm sure they snuck in hidden things or whatever. But I'm sure if she would have, instead of trying to do it herself, had the right people guiding her. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the times county taxes get reassessed. So that's just something we can't control, unfortunately.
Right.
Sometimes it could be like 0.001 difference, but since it's just a high dollar amount, it makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
But Melrose will add a lot of taxes to HOAs. That's why I don't like HOAs.
HOAs is always
go up.
I've heard about it, and they can kind of dictate whatever they want to do, huh?
Because I don't know. Really, I was actually asking this like 3 days ago, and I was thinking to myself, not asking anybody in particular, what is Melrose?
So Melrose is usually you see in like newer constructions or newer neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Melrose tax usually is like 20. I mean, it could be 15, it could be 20, it could be 25, it could even be 30 years.
Yeah.
And what they do is that they use that money collectively from the new neighborhood to build like the schools, public libraries, to
Because
really
they
develop
know
the area.
I see what you're saying. The area.
Where do they do that, and why would they do just tax like
New developments?
we
for
could
sure.
tax here in our neighborhood like $2-3 grand a year? Like, why wouldn't they do that why would they do Melrose instead of like taxing like that? And they say it's for the hospital, they say it's for the school, they say it's for the
Politicians, bro, it's their money.
It's whatever it is.
He's like, who knows? That's what they do.
Uncle Sam,
Yeah,
good old
I
Uncle
mean,
Sam.
I don't know. That's just, I mean, I honestly don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's probably a bunch of money that gets thrown where it shouldn't.
It's wherever they want to do at the end of the day. Whatever they can make sense. Like, let's tell the people this to make
we
it
have
make
the
sense.
opportunity to become millionaires. It's all that matters. No.
While there's blood in the streets.
Hey, $1 billion in the next 20 years will be the new six figures. You get
Let's
what I'm
go.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that's why.
Wow, that's
people are,
powerful.
because of the deflation of the dollar. Think about it. 2-3 years ago, we had inflation at 7-8%.
Yeah.
What do you think that does to everything else? Even minimum wage now is $20 for fast food workers.
Dude, imagine. Isn't that a trip? That's a,
It's like
crazy.
minimum wage by the time we retire. If we retire by 60, 65, will be like $30.
Off topic, what do you think
35.
is going to go, how do you think the US dollar is going to be affected? Do you think it's going to go like cryptocurrency, or like what do you think what do you think is the new financing wise? Do you think the dollar is going to run itself dry, or
It's really hard for that because the world runs on the U.S. dollar.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if you knew,
pumping.
but if you travel to a different country, like if you go to, say for example, from El Salvador to China,
okay?
if you buy Chinese dollars or Chinese money currency, you got to go from Salvadorian pesos or whatever they have
Yeah.
to U.S. dollars
Oh wow.
to China.
So it's the middleman.
Correct. So the world literally runs on the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So it's very
So to go
hard.
from one country to the next, you have to middleman with the U.S. dollar.
So it's, the thing is that the whole concept of money is just made up, bro. Like there's really
Well, that's the thing. Is exactly, yeah. Like they could just print the taxes they
it's a
need.
whole
yeah,
different
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
I want to ask something
Video, yeah.
completely off. I didn't want to take us off guard. I want to ask something completely. Well, like I said, this is gonna be the first episode of Niel Deal.
Yeah.
The next episode is gonna be Niel Carmagan.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a lot different.
I hope you guys are
Yeah,
enjoying
not
it.
just real estate, but more about everything.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. I really appreciate, and we have so much more topics to cover. So, but anyways, Jake,
Yeah, absolutely.
what are you thinking?
Oh man, I'm thinking a lot. I'm about to not get my real estate license, but start to
You don't have to.
start invest. Exactly.
To be honest, for me, if you go straight into the investment, so what I do is I wholesale contracts. Right?
Yeah.
I'm a wholesaler.
Uh-huh.
The thing is that when I was a realtor, I was just a realtor.
Yeah.
Listings and buyers.
Right.
When I became a wholesaler, I really learned sales and marketing. Like I learned about scaling through VAs, cold calls, ads.
Right.
I learned what a marketing funnel was, a sales conversion funnel.
Mhm.
I learned CRMs. I learned all that stuff.
Right.
And I've been able to scale because of that.
Now, did you have anybody on your butt telling you this is what you need to do, or were you,
No.
did you had to be your own manager or your own boss or your own? Wow.
1 year ago, it was me, my partner in the agency side, and one virtual assistant. That was it.
Really?
That virtual assistant's been with me for 3 years.
Nice.
Right now, I have 14 virtual assistants. I have 2 sales reps.
Yeah.
I still have my partner on the agency, and we just hired somebody in-house. So I have 4 people in-house, and I have 14 virtual assistants.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
my overhead went from like $2,000 a month as far as business to now it's like I actually just did payroll today with $6,500.
Let's
every 2
go.
weeks,
Let's
With the
go every
return.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean I'm spending 12 to 15 grand a month to make the goal is to 5x it. Always.
Absolutely, always, yes.
5x it.
Yeah.
Right? You know.
Grant Cardone, 10x it.
I know,
Eventually.
Hey, but I can make it 2x that motherfucker.
Even if you can start with 2x it, we can start, but then scale it.
It's a
2x,
snowball
4,
effect, and
6.
it's you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy to have you, for sure.
Yeah.
To kind of teach the people that are like just starting out and are like just thinking about, dude, what do I do to start a real estate business, man?
Or they're lost. They're like, what do I do? And then here, real estate. Like I can make a living doing this.
For sure.
You know?
First thing if you're getting into real estate is whether you're an agent, you're a wholesaler, is learning how to find deals, how to find listings, and how to find deals because it starts there.
It does
Like,
start
you can't-
there, yeah.
It starts there.
You can't sell a house without knowing.
Well, that's it's not even that. It's the revenue.
Yeah.
Well, you got to learn the process.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is my question on that. Like, how do you, like, when you find a good deal and, like, let's say you want to flip, you want to, like, invest in this property because it's like, wow, that's a good area, that's a great property, it looks distressed. How do you finance these deals, especially for a beginner with limited capital, you know?
Yeah. So, what I would recommend if you are brand new and you know nothing about real estate, like literally learn how to find a deal. Once you have the deal, if you want to flip it, find somebody that's flipped before.
Okay.
You have to pay the ticket, even if you pay them 50%. They bring all the financing, right? You found the deal, they bring all the financing, and just be like, hey, I'm gonna give you the deal, but I want to see what you're doing. Like, I want to learn what you're doing.
That's a key to networking too. Like, that's
You know
a
what I'm
key to network.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
super key. Like,
Like,
if you provide that value, like,
you don't want to risk $500,000 when you've had no experience.
That's what I'm
Right.
right. By being greedy, exactly.
Yes.
Now, how important? So you would say, like, how important would you?
That's a valuable tip for me because I'll tell you what, I try to do it all on my own, and then I'm over here like
How has it worked though?
dude, so many deals, like only so many deals per year, and it's like, that hits me hard right now in this very moment. Like, dude, like I'm learning right now.
Yeah, because you can do say X amount of deals by yourself, but then you're doing it completely wrong. Like you're trying to force it.
Yeah.
There's ways of doing it
When
organically.
you're doing 100% is zero, when you get 25% of like,
Let me ask you this: would you prefer 100% of 30 million or 30% of 100 million?
Oh wow. Yeah. So I guess I'd have to
Same
pull out the
thing.
old calculator.
right? Is it though?
30% of 100 million is,
Or 100% of 30 million?
Correct.
That's
No, it's 35. It'd be 30. It'd be a little over. It'd be a little over 30 million.
Well, you got to think of it in many ways, right?
But
less effort,
if you,
baby.
no, but if you're making less off of the
Your
off of the
mind's
100,
thinking
if you're
I
not
was
making,
getting turned over
if you're not
here.
making the 100%, you're making it with other people. So then you're able to eventually make more.
Well, the thing is, if you have 30% of something, everybody has a role. So it's a lot less work.
wow! And
that's
then you have
what I was
100%.
gonna go. Yeah,
And,
that's what I was
you,
thinking about too.
and you split the risk.
Right.
Instead of doing 100% of the work, you're doing 30% of the work.
And you can do that 3, 4, 5 times a month if you have a team behind you.
Wow.
And if you own 100% of it, you're taking all the risk.
Yes.
You're not. No business is at 100% profitability. At least that I know. If there are, please reach out to me. I would love
I want to know exactly what you're doing.
Work with me.
So for me, I rather have the 30%. I rather be part of something big than own 100% of something.
Yeah,
that's
I guess that's more prideful. I guess like
Yeah.
the more person who's like invested in their pride, right, or ego.
Yeah, or would you rather have 100% of 100,000, right, 6 figures, or would you? Because then it's like, okay, 50% of what?
Right.
That's the question. Like you said, I want 100% of it. Or okay, but I was making 50%, but it's 50% of what?
Of what? Yeah, it
Right.
could be 50% of
million.
$1,000. Yeah, or
50%
exactly
of
yeah.
$1 million. So then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna keep all of it, but you're making 100 grand by yourself, or you can partner with somebody or do something, make $1 million, and now you made
500,000
exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
That's good right there.
Definitely.
So I hope that supports.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, dude, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be paying into Neil's courses really soon.
Let's get it.
We're gonna be working together. Trust me. We're gonna be closing more deals. Absolutely.
So, Neil, how important is networking in the industry, and what tips? What was that? Was that the question we just asked?
That was what we just asked
Yeah, I
it.
think so.
That was the question we just answered. Okay. Alrighty then. So how do I get my first deal in the industry? What would you suggest? How do I go ahead and get my first deal?
I mean, there's so many ways of doing it. I think to me the easiest way is literally making a list of every single person you know that you've ever came in contact with.
Really?
Actually, it's funny, when I first started in real estate,
Contacts.
I went through my
your
dad's
contact list.
Yeah, I went through my dad's contact list on his phone, and anybody I knew that seemed familiar, I would send it to myself.
Really?
And that's how I started. I send it to myself. Eventually, I sent myself his entire contact list, and then I'd call them. Hey, I'm Neil. I'm my dad's name is Moises. I'll be like, hey, I'm Moises' son. I just want to let you know that I'm in real estate now. So if you come across anything, just keep me in mind.
Wow. Okay.
That's working outside of like someone telling you, hey, go
make calls. Yeah.
go make those calls, go talk to somebody in service, go, like, you're doing the work outside of what somebody's telling you.
I'm
what to
leveraging
do.
somebody else's network as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like it's thinking outside the box more than just working outside of what you have going on. Sorry,
Yeah.
broke your desk, bro.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine, bro. It falls apart.
So that's one of the things. And then another thing too is like getting your first deal. Like I said, there's many ways. What I would do if I were to start over is I would just go to the top producing office in my area, or I would find out who's doing the most deals, and then I would approach him and ask for a job.
Okay.
Hey, bro, I'll work for free.
Yeah.
Just give me 30 days. I'll work for free. If you like what you see,
Yeah.
we'll reevaluate, and I'll make you an offer. You make me an offer.
Absolutely. So kind of like shadowing. Like, would you consider shadowing?
Providing value to someone else's value.
Correct.
Okay.
Short term. Like
Okay.
in short words, and make it
Leading
easy
with
as possible.
value.
That's awesome.
That's what I would do. Another thing too is because obviously if you buy data, it costs money and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't have the money to start.
Right.
I would just find somebody that has data or somebody that's at least producing. And if they have, say, like if somebody just reaches out to me and it's like, hey, I want to make calls, bro, I own 3.5 million records. Like I'll send them a list of 10,000 records.
And you start making calls, dude.
That's what I was gonna ask you next.
Like,
Like,
hey,
what
here's
if
this
like
list? If you get anything, call me.
Yeah.
right?
Wow, that's awesome.
Like that, I was actually gonna ask you that next. Like, what if someone was just wanting to get in the business and they said, Neil's closing deals. Like, let me hopefully he's down to let me network with him and sit with him and make some phone calls. How do you respond to those type of questions if someone's like, let me sit with you and
Pick your brain a little. Yeah.
Pick your brain while you make a phone call.
Yeah, if it doesn't take away from what I'm doing, I'll allow it. But then if it's like something like, say for example, I've learned to create a filtration system, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody tells me, hey, I want to get into real estate. Okay, cool. Hey, look, this is the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna make a list of everybody you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna write all their numbers. Let me know when you have that list.
Yeah.
Bro, sometimes I never hear from people again.
So you want to see
They're not that dedicated. It's just like it's hard to not get paid
Yeah.
and work. It's hard to work and not get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
imagine
it-
I would have
it
poured my
actually
entire
is.
heart out at that person, gave
Yeah.
them everything, and then never hear
Exactly.
from them
So you
again.
want to see at least something in return from them to show like the dedication
so
or
if
the
they hit
interest.
me up a week later, 2 days later, a day later.
A day later, even better. Yeah.
Hey, here's the list. Hey, dude, it was only 20 people. It's all I know. I'm 18. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a... Perfect, bro.
Yeah.
This
It
is what
shows
you're
a lot from
yeah.
that.
Hey, this is what you're going to say. You're going to call them. This is what you're going to say. You're going to say you're working with a group of investors that they buy houses cash or whatever. And just to keep you in mind if anything comes up.
Wow.
Let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And
That's
then
powerful
they'll be
stuff
like,
right
hey, I
there.
finished.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
If you
What
guys
kind of
aren't
feedback?
already, take down notes
Yeah.
right now. This is, trust me, this is powerful stuff.
Would the average 19, 20-year-old like person that I know, would they be able to reach out to you and do something like that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if they know 20 people, 25, 30 people,
The
etc.
number doesn't matter. It's
The number
action.
doesn't matter. If they're willing to put in the work and not get paid right off the front and put their head down and show up and do what it takes, are they able to reach out to you?
100%. For sure, reach out to me.
Yeah.
And then, like, a lot of the times it's like 3 or 4 steps like that, which they're not even hard steps.
They're not.
But if they go
Little
past
vetting
that,
steps, vetting tools.
If they go past that, it's like, hey, bro, all right.
I'm willing to get you on my team.
Let's
yeah.
meet up.
This made
I
me
like
think,
that. Hell yeah,
How
yeah.
many
That's
people?
awesome.
How many people actually ask you? I'm sure it's often. I just already know the number. How many people ask you? Can we meet up for lunch? And like, can I pick your brain a little bit?
All the time.
All the time. At least
All
once
the
a day.
time.
huh?
All the time.
Yeah.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah.
Just like me when I'm trying to meet with higher level people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to set up meetings all the
Yeah.
time.
It's a numbers game, kind
Yeah,
of. Huh? You're
but
kind of always reaching out.
I don't just say, hey, let's go to lunch.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, this is what I have going on.
How can
Based
I
on
add
what I have
value?
going on, how can I add value to your business, right?
That's
I
awesome.
lead with like the marketing agency. You know, a lot of these established guys don't understand marketing. They don't understand funnels.
Right.
So that's kind of like my entry point.
That's awesome.
You get what I'm saying? And then
Yeah,
that's how I
hell
meet
yeah.
with them. And then once I'm sitting down with them, we'll have conversations like this.
Yeah.
And then just a can of worms open.
And then
Yeah.
the relationship builds and grows. And
Absolutely.
absolutely. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, a vetting process has been very important, bro. Because yeah, once you start producing numbers, you get hit up all the time. And it's unfortunate because people will waste your time.
Yeah.
And you want to help as many people as possible.
course.
We all
Like,
want
to
to
grow together. We all want to grow
I'm
together.
not here to tell anybody no, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't want to waste my time.
Your time is important. Exactly.
Yeah, no, and if people don't understand that from the beginning, they're just like, hopefully I can learn how to paint and at the same time be a real estate agent or something.
You will be so
Or let me do
surprised.
real estate on the side, huh? Like
That
let me
doesn't
do
work.
it.
That doesn't work. Cut that out right away.
Don't even stop.
That'll
Just stop.
take you 5-10 years to build.
Absolutely.
That doesn't work. You gotta go all in.
You hear about people doing that though, huh? Like they would just, I want to be a real estate agent, but part time. Or
Bro, for me, I literally jumped off the cliff
yeah,
and
head first,
I
huh?
had no other
Barely
option.
had a parachute with like
It
Uber.
had to work because I had no other option.
Yeah.
I did not want to get a job.
I believe it.
I did not want to get a job.
Let's go. That's
I
awesome,
like
man.
that.
Yeah, that's that.
And it turned into
mindset,
having a
though.
job, but just being your own boss.
It's a part of the equation. It's mindset,
Yeah.
discipline, persistency, consistency. Like
Yeah.
if you keep trying, you keep going, keep doing what you have to do, you're gonna get the result.
Yeah.
If it's gonna take 2 years, it's gonna take a year, it's gonna take 5 years. Like
Yeah.
put in the fucking work.
The persistency is what
Definitely.
really hit hard for me.
Yeah, and for some people, it works faster than others. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can't
Absolutely.
compare.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people see the success, and then, but they don't. Dude, I almost gave up so many times. You
So
get what I'm
many
saying?
times, I believe it.
I would go home and cry.
Yeah, I
Like-
believe it,
Like
for
by
sure.
myself. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? One time I called my mentor, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to go get a job. He's like, bro, you're so close. Like, don't stop. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
that people don't see. They just see the deals and the
Yeah.
business, but they don't see all the late nights, hard work. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like the stress, bro.
The stress, the grind.
stress.
the-
But
yeah.
what held you there was accountability.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what we talk about big time here on the podcast. It's just
Absolutely.
accountability.
Yeah.
Someone to tell you like, hey, you're doing great. Keep it up.
And that's where your network comes in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people that are more successful or successful, dude, it was so funny because I'm very direct when I build relationships. Like I'm very open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just start like after a while, right? Like after a while, I would tell my mentor like, bro, I don't think. He's like, dude, like suck it up, bro. Like
Yeah, a little bit of tough love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I've
been there,
He's
bro.
already
Like-
crossed these
like
rivers.
everything you're going through right now, you think you're the only one that's gone through it?
Yeah, like toughen up a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Like, dude, I've been there. What you're going through right now, it's
Yeah.
only temporary. Either you decide to move forward, or you
like,
chicken out and go get a job.
are you seriously gonna let something like this defeat you? Something
Which,
so
there's nothing
small.
wrong with the job, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
which,
this,
yeah.
this type of stuff defeats you or what?
Yeah, but like something so simple, like come on, like I've been through this. It's temporary.
They
Absolutely.
decrease the problem because you think it's this huge thing,
Well,
and then they'll tell you like, bro. What
I was gonna tell you.
Yeah,
I was
and then
gonna
you're like, "Yeah,
actually
it's not even that big of a
speak
deal."
about that. Nowadays in society, it's kind of like the lone wolf. Like I want to get it on my own. I want to do it by myself. How important do you think it is to have like that network of people and to rely on a mentor or to have someone to be able to reach out?
Mentorship.
Because imagine if you didn't have those, you probably might have quit. Like if you were just been your own,
Yeah, I'll give you a real example. Like even in the community, some of the students will reach out and they'll be like, "Hey, I have this deal, but I don't think it's a deal." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Let me see it."
Any deal can be a deal.
and then
huh? Yeah.
and then they'll send it over, and I'm like, "Oh no, it's not a wholesale deal. It's a listing, or it's hey, we can do a creative finance, or hey, you know what? Ask them if they're open to doing some type of seller finance." Or
Yeah.
seeing it from different perspectives,
Different,
right? Where they
yeah.
think it's not even a deal, so that having that community, you get different
absolutely,
perspectives.
absolutely.
So you've gotten into more creative financing yourself through the whole your investing career.
I wouldn't say I've gone into creative finance. I've done a couple creative finance deals, but I've gotten more into having different options. Because even if I do come across a creative finance, I'm not familiar enough for me to take it down myself, but I know someone that will.
Yeah.
And then we just bring them in.
Options.
Yeah.
The
I'm not going
network.
to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, here's a deal for you.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're going to remember that.
absolutely.
Yeah, especially if it's a
Yeah.
high-level person. They're going to remember that.
Part of the network.
Yeah.
It's part of the network. If you were able to, if they're able to close that deal, they're gonna remember that you brought it to them.
Yeah.
Two
Guess
grand,
what?
3 grand.
They know
$5
I've lived in
grand.
this area. Next time they have a deal, they're like, hey, bro, I can't take it down.
Or even
You
not.
like this flip?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're not able to get to it. Hey, so
Or
who's
wholesale.
the next best person that I know of?
Or, hey, you have a buyer for that? Actually, I do, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Network. That's huge. Actually, that
That's
kind of
awesome.
goes into what I wanted to ask. Was like, how can someone on their, completely on their own, like, I mean, I showed you a little bit earlier. I'm running I'm running my own softwares. I'm running
Yeah.
my own things, and I'm making my own marketing pages. I'm making my own phone calls. How can someone like me, operating on their own, really just be more efficient, benefit from or even benefit from what the services, or even offer central
Income producing activities. Building websites is not an income producing activity.
It's taking away, actually.
It's out. It literally hurts. It literally
Paying people to make
hurts
phone
me.
calls for you is not an
What are you
income
building a
producing
website
activity.
for? You don't have any deals. You don't have any clients.
Let's go. Yeah.
What are you making flyers for?
Yeah. Hiring
You get
people
what
to
I'm
make
saying?
phone calls for you. Yeah.
Get on the
things like
phones.
that. Yeah.
Talk to as many homeowners as possible. Get on the phones. Income producing activities, because all that like website, fly, you don't need any of that.
Yeah.
You can just hire someone that'll do it for a couple $100 once you have the deal flow.
Once you have
Yeah.
the money, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like for me, my first 3 years, I was cold calling Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, I would cold call 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
I would have open houses Saturdays and Sundays, and I would call literally 2,000 to 3,000 numbers on the Mojo dialer,
Wow.
triple line dialer a week.
How does the triple line dialer work?
Well, instead of calling manually, you upload the list into the dialer, you press start, and then it'll just call 3 numbers at a time. First one to answer is the one that'll pick up.
Wow.
What the?
Yeah, if somebody else doesn't answer, then it'll give them a callback message. Whenever you finish that call, it'll call back that person. So then if you contact them, you can label it contact.
Yeah.
You can drop a voicemail.
So
So
for
I
those
was
you
the
guys,
guy that was walking around with the headset
All day
calls,
long, yeah.
5 hours a day.
for anybody that doesn't understand and is just starting out, he's talking about building phone numbers, 3 individual phone numbers, to actually run through a line and have phone calls being ran through each and every one of these phone numbers to 3 individual home
Strangers,
Contacts. Wow.
homeowners.
homeowner contacts.
That's-
If it's the contact, if it's not the
Yeah.
contact, he's dialing 3 at one time, and whoever answers first, he's gonna have the line with that person.
Yeah.
If 2 people answer at one time, the first one that gets the first answer, the next one gets automated.
I got to the point where I transferred to another dialer where I was doing 10 calls at a time.
Jeez. Oh, so it really is a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Like, would you
Absolutely.
say? Would you?
Because look, once you got to wear 2 hats. It's the lead generation,
Yeah.
right? Which when you have no deals, you have no income, so you can't automate that.
You have to get the leads. Yeah. Yeah.
It's sweat equity.
Uh-huh.
So you got to
Let's
generate the leads because it's a
go.
high ticket sale. You're not gonna see. So I did door to door sales for a little bit right before real estate,
Okay.
and I was selling dish, right?
Okay.
So
Selling what?
Dish.
Dish
Dish.
network,
Oh,
satellite
yeah.
television. So if I didn't sell them on the door, I knew I wasn't gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to sell it right then and there, basically.
It was a huge transition for me when I got into real estate because
Yeah.
I wanted to sell people on the phone.
Yeah.
It
You
doesn't
wanted
work
that
like
yes
that.
right then and there. Huh?
No. Yeah.
It's like 10, 12 touches.
Wow.
So when you generate the lead, if they show any type of interest,
You want that saved.
then you take the data and you push it into a CRM, and then you start building your CRM.
Wow.
Because then eventually, at first, you're gonna have 1, 2, 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my CRM right now has 200,000 records
Jeez.
of people that we're calling all day, people that have been there.
Leads
Holy
or
cow.
contacts?
So I have about 10,000 leads.
Yeah, but just people like
actual
getting
leads.
warmer and then getting warmer
Actual
and then
leads.
getting
It's a
warmer.
funnel.
It's a funnel.
Yeah.
Actual leads, and then those are the people that we call all day. Like, hey, we spoke a couple weeks ago, just following up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We just closed on a property right down the street. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing, Jake? Just checking in.
Yeah.
Keep me in mind. Don't
Yeah.
forget about me.
Yeah, don't forget
Stuff
about
like
me.
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And then they're
literally.
like, oh, you know what? You've been following me for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what? My daughter's ready to sell.
Yeah, perfect. And that's
get
all
those
it takes
all the
is
time.
that. That's all it takes, huh? That's all
But
it
then you
takes.
have to build that.
Yeah.
You
You,
get-
have to
that's-
call for 3 years. Yeah.
You have to build that. That's
Yeah.
your book of business, and most
Yeah.
people can't get to that.
Because
point.
I guarantee you that when the time is right and then when their daughter is ready to sell, they're going to go with the person that's been calling them for the last 3 years. Then Michael would just called me today and just like, oh, like yeah, my daughter is actually ready to sell, but I'm gonna go with the person
Neil that's been calling
like
me
I guarantee you he's gonna be
100%
calling
so.
me. He's gonna be calling me in the next week or so because he
That's
calls
all it
me
is.
every other week.
Top of mind. It's
Wow.
it's a mind game. It's just top of mind.
Yeah, being on the top
That's
of
it.
mind. Yeah,
So
it's impressive.
where do you think someone that is beginning and wants to like fast track? I know that's not a real thing, obviously. Like fast
If
track,
you find a mentor.
Yeah.
right?
Let's go.
So okay,
joining
yeah,
joining a.
that's my
program,
question.
yeah.
A
Where do
coaching
you
program.
think
Cheers.
Offer Central can provide that value for individuals that are like, you know what, I really want to fast track. I have a little bit of capital or even a little bit more grit to put into my career as a real estate investor or finding my next real estate deal. What do you think Offer Central can provide that value?
Yeah, so You guys want to might write some notes. So okay, so for
Oh,
example,
I like that.
Hold on. Let me
Get the
that
notepad out.
For example, if you go to a standard real estate office, they'll teach you how to do expireds and physicals. That's the only thing they teach you.
Yeah.
With us, I like I said, I'm in the trenches, so I understand the criteria.
Yeah.
One of the criteria we do that nobody even thinks about is if we're gonna pull homeowners, why just pull a farm or a neighborhood, or why just pull high equity absentees, right? If we're in a specific market, something that we do that we've had a lot of success with, which I'll say it, but is we pull a list of senior citizens, right, that have been in the property 10 plus years, that live in 2-story homes.
2 stories specifically.
Why? Because they're empty nesters. They can't go up and down the stairs like they used to. A lot of them on their way out. A lot of them want to downsize.
They're ready
You know
to
what I'm saying?
downsize.
They've been there
Yeah.
10 plus years, so a lot of the times the properties need work.
Man, yeah.
cash out the equity.
That's so well thought of. That's so,
So,
well
so
thought
if you're
of.
cold
Yeah.
calling, why are you just calling
Yeah.
strangers? Why don't you just target it a little better?
Absolutely. And so by joining a program like yours, Offer Central, you're able to not have to think about these things on your own. You're able to adopt these techniques, these smart
It's
techniques.
a shortcut to
It's a
like
shortcut,
understanding.
because that's so well thought out, thought about, and thought out. That's so
and if you
well
have
thought out.
if you have the like capacity and grit to like kind of invest in that sort of thing,
Yeah.
this can be that one tool that helps bring you closer to your next deal.
And then you guys add value together.
It's such a no-brainer offer, bro, because we offer the CRM, same exact CRM I'm using, the scripts that we're using, the types of data that we're pulling, my data sources.
And you're still closing deals, right? You're still like closing deals
That's
in
the
your own.
system I'm using.
That's
Right,
awesome, man.
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
so-
That's the
Exactly.
system I'm using.
That's
and
so
we have
cool.
weekly calls. We'll teach how to comp, how to skip trace.
That's so cool.
For $300 a month.
What is skip
That's
tracing
awesome.
for the people that don't know?
So like say for example, if you drive by like a boarded up home, how do you get in touch with a homeowner?
Yeah.
That's what skip tracing is. You look up you look up title with the prop stream, whatever program you use, you find the homeowner, whatever their mailing address is, and then you get their phone number and email.
Go through there. Go to
Specific sources.
And where can the people find you, Neil, if they want to reach out and join your course or?
You can find me on Instagram, Neil with the deal, or you can go on offercentral.io, and all our information is on there. And you could even sign up. Like I said, it's $297 a month, and you get all that value. It's actually too much value to say no to, you know.
I'm about ready to just give you my credit card right now. Like, can I
So-
start dialing for you? I'm ready to start
If you guys
calling.
haven't caught it already, Neil. He is the fucking deal. Neil with the deal offers Offer Central is what the brand is called. The company is called. That'll help you get closer to your next deal with a projection and trajectory of actually reaching distressed or motivated home sellers, creating your own contact retention management system, which is known as a CRM, and then also be able to dial these things in to build your automations to reach out to these distressed homeowners that'll actually work for you rather than you being there 24/7 behind the computer logging these things in. It's a whole automated system. If you guys would like, we're going to leave Neil's information in our description and inside of our comments. So please reach out to Neil if you guys want to close your first deal as real estate investors or even as real estate flippers or whatever it is you guys have in mind. That's how we stand on business.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a no-brainer, especially if someone's already been thinking about real estate.
Exactly.
Dude, and it's all direct to seller marketing. Everything is off market. We do no MLS deals.
I love that. Yeah.
I personally, I mean, people are like, why don't you do them? I can do them.
Yeah.
But just
It makes more sense.
If you can be direct to seller and how the way he's saying it's incredibly powerful. You have no middleman.
I'll give you the example. I'm buying a house right now. The wifey wanted a house, right? So what I did
Let's go. Shout out.
Congrats, wifey.
Yeah, it's time I bought a house, right? So
It's time.
what I did is we do, like I said, we do a lot of probates. So what I did is I pulled a list of probates in the city of Riverside, which is where I'm buying the house. It was literally only 30 records, and I used the exact script that I told you guys about.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I was like, hey, I was actually
That's
in
crazy.
the area.
I believe it.
Yeah, I was actually in the
crazy.
area. You know, we were driving by. We love the area, and you know, like I said, I just got married a couple months ago. Wifey really wants a house, and I was just wondering-
Congrats, you guys.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I saw the house was in probate. I'm actually in the business.
Yeah.
I flip, right?
Want to
But
know
this
what
is
you
for
want
my
to do with
primary
it.
residence.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually gonna live here, potentially have my first.
They
kid.
love that.
Oh, dude, they ate that up. Oh, they ate
The
it
lady,
up.
the lady, she was awesome. Her she's super cool. She inherited the property. It was her dad's house, original owners.
Yeah.
And essentially, she's like, yeah, I actually wanted to go to a family. Like, I didn't want somebody to make $100,000 on the property or any of that.
That's
so
beautiful.
We
yeah.
came in at 460. There was an investor that came in at 495.
Wow.
And she super open with us. She's like, hey, they sent me the contract. I didn't sign it. They're at 495.
I want to go with you.
I met with her and I
Was she the realtor as well?
No.
She was the homeowner,
She
basically.
inherited
Yeah.
the property.
And did you write a letter or what? How did you?
A cold call.
Cold call.
Really?
Yeah, he literally found it over off of a cold
Skip
call
tracing.
and
Skip-
built
it
that
was a
built that
broker
little
record, yeah.
relationship by saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be living here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna potentially have my first
We
child
talked
here."
about
and-
skip tracing. Now, how do you do that? I know it sounds super
There's
simple.
so many sources.
Okay. So you.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's
find
a
out
different-
find out more.
Sign up for the-
Find out
for
more
the
in the
program.
course.
Yeah.
Let's go. Find out. Hey, those are the things that, like, seriously though, like you can't get
Essential.
everything for free. You know,
30 records, literally 30 records got one deal, and that's the one we're moving into.
Wow.
She got an offer at 495. She's like, hey, if you come up to 495, I'll give you the house. And
Let's
I was
go.
like, done.
Yeah.
So we came up to 495. The investor called her back. She's like, hey, I'll give you 510. Before we even signed the offer, she's like, no, it's already sold. She was loyal to it. You get what I'm saying?
What a good person.
Because
Yeah.
510.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
they tried to be like, oh, like they tried to counter again.
It's because of you. That motivation. I love that.
So the numbers on that deal is 495. I came in at 505, so I got $10,000 back in credit.
Nice.
I was gonna buy hard money, but what I ended up doing is a qualified FHA, first time home buyer. I'm a first time home buyer, so
Yeah.
I came in 3.5% down.
Nice. Oh,
I got a great rate. It's a 30-year fix. The appraisal came back at 585 the way it sits, and
oh
it,
my
Jeez.
goodness.
it needs a bunch of work, like a lot of work. You get what I'm saying?
So you're
once-
gonna put in the work. You're
I'll
gonna
probably put
in,
like not 100. I'll probably put like 80,000 into it.
Okay.
Really, that's a big
okay.
that's a big flip. That's a big rehab.
brand new house though. But then once I
Right,
do that, it'll be
right.
worth 700.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
So I'm going in with 20% equity off the rip.
Yeah.
You're in a major. That property is in a major
Very nice area.
metro area.
Oh, I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right. So it's not. I mean, this is huge for Neil. This is obviously why he picked it out as his personal property.
We got a view.
Absolutely.
It's on a hill. It's
Yeah.
the highest house on
Congrats,
the hill. We got
guys.
a view.
It'll definitely take
Yeah.
some time to get there. Obviously, we're not trying to sell you guys the dream, but
Yeah.
that's obviously
Those are
through
that's what you can.
the fruits of his labor.
Yeah.
He's
8 years.
definitely
You know what I'm saying? It- like I
8 years
said,
of hard
it's-
work. I'm sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I mean, it's possible. It's out there. It's doable. One question I wanted to ask you, Neil, because I know a lot of people here on like Instagram and YouTube and the things like that. It's like, I make money with no money. Like, what are they talking about? How do they do that?
Okay, so going back, that's perfect. Thank you for bringing that up. So going back to the deal right now. So I'm buying it for technically $495, putting $80,000 into it, coming in with 3.5% down, right? So that's a $17,000 down payment. So my loan on it will be about $480, right? But then I'm gonna put $80,000 into it, which I got through private money, and then I even got private money to cover the down payment. I'm good right now, thank you. I even got private money to cover the down payment and the rehab. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the money into the property. So literally buying the property with no money.
that's what I was gonna ask.
It was
if
a loan.
If you don't mind me asking, what is private money? Like what?
Private money
Like
is
to a term.
Yeah, somebody that say has like $100,000 laying around, they're getting 1% interest or less than 1% in the bank.
Really.
Someone else. That
Somebody
has
else.
the money.
Yeah,
Pri-
just-
like a private.
A friend,
like
a family member.
Like a bank, but a private.
No,
person.
like say you have $100,000 and
Right,
it's just
right.
sitting there. Yeah,
right.
like that.
Almost like what the bank does, but a
Let
private
Neil
person.
borrow it
Yeah.
to get you 125 grand or whatever.
And this
right?
might be a little off topic or whatnot, but I was actually living in Arizona, and the guy who I was renting a house from, he told me he used to do things like that. He would provide personal loans to people who wanted to buy homes.
Is it shark lending or is it what is that called?
That's so interesting. I didn't know
yeah,
people
it
could
be
do
shark
that.
lending. Yes, yeah.
He had the capital to provide like someone who couldn't
and,
qualify
you put
for
and how do you protect your money? With the real estate.
with the house that they buy. Yeah, literally. Like
Like
wow.
if you don't pay
That's
for that, I'll let you borrow the
You have a-
money.
You have a lien on the house.
Yeah, wow. So if they don't pay rent for 2 months, 3 months, hey man, sorry.
Well, the thing is
or-
that it's
or
you're second
mortgage.
in line.
Okay.
Because the bank is always first, right? Because they have the majority stake in the property. So then you're second in
wow.
line. So then say, for example, you can be like, hey, I'm going to let you borrow the down payment, say 40, 50,000.
Right.
But I expect monthly payments and then the payment back in 3 years. But what happens is that real estate always appreciates.
Yes.
So in 3 years, the house, like say my house, it's worth 700 today. In 3 years, it might be worth 780.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So then guess what? You can refi at that time, pull the money out, pay back the investor.
Yeah.
So going back to my point,
Pay your thing off within your 3 years.
so I'm borrowing 100,000. So my all-in price is 595, right? 595.
But
I
that's
don't-
with depreciation.
I don't have to pay the money back until a year later. 12 months is the term I have. So even I could even do 18 months if I want, or even 2 years. So then what I'm gonna do is, and say I wait 2 years, in 2 years I'm gonna refinance. Rates are coming down. So since I have 20% of equity, I'm gonna get rid of something called the home mortgage insurance, which is like $400.
Okay.
So my debt will be higher because I'm refining out more money.
Okay.
But my rate will be lower, and I won't have any PMI, which is the home mortgage insurance. So my mortgage will be lower with more debt,
Right.
but I pay out everybody. So then at the end of the day,
your debts will be paid, and then you're the primary
I
owner.
keep the house. But it's always been my house.
Wow,
But
it's always been your house,
yeah,
but now
but
you don't
I'm
have the the weight on your shoulder of, hey, I have to pay back John or whatever.
So if you really think about it, I went in,
impressive,
I bought the
man.
house under my name with none of my money. A year later or 2 years later, I refinanced, pulled
Paid
the
off
money
all your
pay off all the debt, and I keep the house. And
That's
now I still
so
have
impressive.
20% equity, and I used none of my money.
just by working smart, I guess would
Just
be
knowing the industry.
Working smart.
Right.
That's very impressive.
If you know the ins and outs
That's very
of
impressive.
lending and things
Yeah.
like that, and how to leverage your money.
And if you learn how to find deals, like there's no realtors involved, there's no other wholesalers, nothing. I sourced the deal from.
You're not paying out people
my team
to
did, actually, yeah.
That's impressive, man, for
If
sure.
I was to, like, just for an example for everybody to kind of understand.
Yeah.
If I was to find a mobile home on land, like a manufactured home on land that is just past the qualification loans, qualification requirements. And I can't get a loan on it, but I find someone to finance this thing.
Yep.
It's a manufactured home, past the 1970 year, and it's a little under standard to be financed. If I was to have somebody, a private lender, allow me what it takes to cost, let's say it's $200,000. It's a piece of land. It's very valuable. But if I were to put in the work, the rehab, and put in the cabinet, all it needs is a little bit of cabinet work, a little bathroom work, a little bit of tile work,
Right.
remodel, a little makeup on this bad boy. Do you think I would be able to do that and refinance on a seller financing situation? Like, let's say I bought this property on a seller's finance situation, and then refinance this property to pay back the seller. Probably pay back the seller.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing, just only with the rehab and the down payment. The thing is that, again, if you have no experience,
no one's gonna look at you.
I mean, it's hard to convince somebody to give you $200,000.
Yeah.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? Like even in my situation, I flip, I wholesale, I show them the escrows.
It was probably still kind of hard.
over 250 deals.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm confident enough to say that, hey, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like there's no loss.
Yeah.
Right. And even if there was, I have the business. I can potentially pay it back.
Absolutely.
To an extent, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you do find a deal like that, it's your first one. It's okay if you're making 50% or whatever it is, but learn how to do it, because it's a lot of money, and you don't want to lose anybody's money, and you don't want to get your guys in trouble. If you guys are listening, you don't want to get in trouble. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in $100,000 worth of trouble.
That's a lot. That's
200, 300. Yeah.
I make it seem easy, right? But there's a lot of legalities. You got to sign paperwork. You got to take it very serious. You got to have the experience. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes $100,000, $200,000 is somebody's life savings that they're giving to you, or not giving to you, but letting you borrow.
Yeah.
So you got to know your shit
in some sort of way. Do you think if someone was just starting out and they had their eyes on real estate investing, they think of this next property as their and they're just starting out, the first time beginner investors just starting out, and they see, wow, that can be, I've kind of watched a couple videos, I know a little bit about real estate investing, that's my property that I want to really invest on.
When you say invest, do you mean buy and hold, for them
buy,
to keep
fix,
it?
and flips?
Oh, got it. Okay.
Buy, fix, and flip. Do you think it's a little more difficult for them to get funding on that?
Well, yeah, because it's very hard to get a loan when you have no experience, right? Say you have no experience. Yeah, you watch YouTube videos or whatever. You think you know what it is. It's like, you guys know how to drive stick?
Yeah.
Stick shift, right? It's one thing to know, and then it's one thing to actually get behind the wheel and drive the car.
You're
Oh,
right.
dang.
It's one thing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You'll
Right.
stall a couple times. Even it doesn't matter how
It doesn't
many,
matter how many times you've done it
or how many
doing it.
YouTube videos you've watched. Once you get behind the wheel and start driving,
Yeah.
You might actually
you're gonna stall.
once or twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's the same
So
scenario.
talking about it and
So
being
it's-
about it is.
It's very
yeah.
hard for you to get a loan, and if you do get a loan with, let's say, like hard money lender,
Yeah.
dude, you're gonna get paid a lot in fees because
I
you're
believe
very
it.
high risk.
You're high risk. Yeah.
You're
high-
considered high risk until you do about 5 deals.
Wow, that's impressive.
Like what? Like what's a typical like for somebody that has invested, and then what's a typical for someone that's just starting out investing? Like as far as fees and like.
Well, when you
interest
understand
rates.
the business, you can get loans at, like, say, again, private money. Like, once you know what you're doing, just getting around, they'll be like, hey, this is the guy. He has a $50 million credit line or $10 million credit line.
Yeah.
And then you start building a relationship with them. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Instead of going to, like, a bank, they'll charge you 2 origination points on the purchase price, right, up front.
Wow.
And then it's interest only. They'll give you a really high interest.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they'll do, like, a 12-month term, and then they'll have, like, prepayment penalties.
Yeah.
And then when you don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
you don't know how to negotiate any of that.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
and it's not, and it's with the bank. It's
Like-
not a physical person.
Like,
that you
even me
have the
talking about it,
relationship
someone's gonna have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so imagine not having any experience in negotiating with a bank or
Wow.
like a lender or something.
with. Yeah.
Where would you suggest someone to start? That's like, I do have my eyes set on some investment property. Maybe this one it looks good, but it's not as good. Maybe I'll just keep dabbling. And where would someone start? Like,
I would start in wholesaling
Mm-hmm.
because you can make quick cash. Like, dude, I mean, our average assignment is 30 grand. So every
Okay.
time we get a deal, it's 30 grand. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? So like,
That's commission or
yeah, incentives.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Grow-
Yeah. So like year to date, we're on track to do about what was it? I think it was like 225.
I fucking love that he can't even
That's
figure
so-
the
no,
number.
that's so impressive.
I love
Yeah.
that so
it's-
much, dude.
The goal is a quarter million.
How much is
first
it? Like
quarter.
Yeah.
a quarter million.
But right around there.
But yeah, so like right now we have about 130 pending. Dude, and this is nothing. Like I have friends that have $1.5 million right now in the
Oh.
pipeline.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no.
So
100%.
like so
in
us,
Miami or what?
Yeah.
Same state or what?
No, they're nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so the goal is a quarter million. We're on track to do about 220 first quarter, right?
go.
So it's quick cash, bro. Like there's no risk.
Yeah.
You just get the contract, you assign it, and you make 20, 30.
Wholesaling.
What is wholesaling? That's what it is, right?
Wholesaling, yeah, is when you do direct to seller marketing. You find a homeowner that's willing to sell.
Yeah.
At a not at a discounted price, but at a negotiated price.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And once they say yes, then you take that contract and you take it to title or escrow, and then once it's in escrow, you assign it to an actual investor.
Okay.
So that's another way of building a relationship with investors. Is like, hey, I found a deal, I'll give it to you, but I want
Cut me in some.
not even cut me in. I just want to see what you're doing.
Oh wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
just bringing them deals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
you're still gonna make 20, 30 grand.
Wow.
You're still
Okay.
gonna, but then it's like, hey, I'm gonna give it to you specifically because I have 3 other offers.
That's so
Which you
awesome.
might not even, but
Yeah, but you can
Yeah,
play the part.
yeah.
You can play the
Yeah,
part.
like,
Exactly.
hey, bro, you're not the only investor because you want to have that. You want to have some type of power.
you want to have a little leverage. Exactly. Yeah.
So, hey, I'm gonna give it to you, but I want to learn how to flip.
Yeah.
And the cool part about learning how to find deals is that once you have enough money, you cherry pick the best ones,
That's awesome.
and then you sell off everything else.
Yeah.
Which is my business model right now.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Can-
That's very
can-
cool.
and my next question is, can we hang out a little more often?
Exactly.
No, definitely no. I really appreciate all the value you've brought to us, man. I don't want to.
I hope I was able to bring some value.
Dude, oh my
Definitely.
gosh.
so much, so
I
much.
know.
We're definitely
Yeah.
I've obviously asked what our viewers think, what the audience thinks about behind all this. You've done a really great job in reiterating exactly what someone needs. As far as really just real estate investing and wholesaling, we kind of brought up just recently. I think I had one more question about that. Is just like, where does one really identify the wholesale deal?
What do you mean where? Like what do you determine if it's a wholesale deal?
Yeah.
A lot of the times, it just depends, right? Like if you're talking to a seller, like usually when somebody tells us personally, like, hey, and like in this case, the house I'm buying, right? Hey, I inherited the property. It was my dad's house. It's super outdated. It needs a bunch of work. I don't have the money to fix it. It's like light bulb.
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Because you
It's
can't just call any homeowner, home seller that's like, I want to sell my house, and
Yeah.
I want to sell my house for more than what it's worth.
Well, yeah, the whole that's not even a lead, right? So I don't even waste my time on those. The thing is that nobody wakes up saying, "Hey, I'm going to sell my house today."
Exactly.
Right,
Shit
right,
happens.
right,
Like
right,
it
right.
could happen in the middle of the day where they had
Literally.
this crazy call and it's like, dude, I'm transferring jobs.
Literally.
Like that day. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying? And
yeah.
it's like, now I'm gonna sell my house.
Yeah.
Or God
Now we gotta
forbid,
sell the house, babe.
somebody's
Oh, yeah,
family-
one
yeah.
in a million.
somebody's
almost.
family member passes away
Mhm.
and it sucks. You get what I'm saying? And it
But
sucks
that's
that we're
life.
calling
That's
asking
life.
if they're gonna sell, but
Mhm.
that's why you gotta get on the phone. And it was funny because I was talking to somebody where they're like, well, how do I call only people that want to sell? It's like, bro, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Like you
Nobody knows they want to sell until
it's a numbers exactly. It's
Mhm.
a numbers game. You have to call them, spark interest, and then you work that lead.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a funnel. It's a whole
It's
whole
a
ass
follow-up
funnel.
sequence. You can't just call people that are motivated.
Yeah.
You can. It's all probability. So depending on the criteria, the probability of them being more motivated is there.
Uh-huh.
But you can't just call people that are like, yeah, I'm ready to sell.
Right.
The likelihood of you having to grab their contact information and saving into some sort of contact retention manager system, or even your notes, or whatever it is you do, it's going to be more likely you're going to be more likely to be prone to doing something like that to set yourself up.
And if you want to get into the real estate business, just know real estate is one of the hardest industries to be in. If you're not willing to work hard, if you're not willing to learn, like, don't even bother.
It's not for you. yeah.
Grind, grit, discipline,
Yeah.
persistency.
Yeah.
Don't
Just
even
stay at
bother
McDonald's.
because
Just stay at
it's
McDonald's.
just-
Yeah.
I'm saving you guys time. You know?
Yeah,
I'm
literally,
saving
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
Time, you know?
Time, tears, heartbreak,
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
But if anything else, let's work hard together. Let's grow together. Let's do what we can to add value to each other. That's what we're here for, to stand on business. We're super excited to have you, Neil.
Yes.
Thank you so much again for jumping on with us.
Yeah.
If there's any questions you guys have, Neil with the deal in the comments is going to be readily available for you guys. He also has, again, so many different valuable tools for you guys to utilize. So please tap in. If anything else, you're going to catch Neil and the Standing on Business crew and so much more content and so much more value to provide for you guys. This is the more Standing on Business. This is the more business related content, but hopefully we talk a little more about personal growth and what we can do to be.
Yeah, we want to get to know more about Neil and,
I got
things.
some good stuff about
Yeah,
personal
yeah.
growth.
Absolutely, yeah. We want
I
to
got
know.
some certifications. I actually took a couple of certifications.
Let's go.
No, this guy is educated. So you
Yeah.
know that's what we want to do to stand on business. We want to
Yeah.
educate ourselves through personal courses and different mentorships. And if you're the entrepreneur that stands out outside of your Burger King job, outside of your eyebrow threading job, outside of your car selling job, this is the podcast for you guys. And we hope to grow with you all, and we hope to provide value to everybody. If nothing else, if my fellow,
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
please do.
So there's if you guys want to get into that mindset, there's a really good book called The Science of Getting Rich. And something they talk about is, again, the science of getting rich. Sometimes they talk about is that it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like, say, for example, people that make the mason jars
Yeah.
or people that make these plastic water bottles. It doesn't matter what industry it is. There's always somebody making money.
Yeah, you can
So it doesn't matter
capitalize.
what you do. There's always ways to capitalize.
Yeah.
And you just have to be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what we want to do. We want to become the best version
And
of
the question
whatever
is that
we're
I'm going to
doing.
leave you guys with, is probably this is for sure the last thing I'm going to say is,
Mhm.
if you weren't the person you are right now, who would you be?
Let's stand on business, everybody.
Absolutely.
I hope to see you guys growing. I hope to grow with you guys. Please let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys soon on our next show.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Thank you guys.